13 signs your aura intimidates people. Carl Jung was right. Your energy introduces you before you even speak. This powerful truth reminds us that our presence carries more than just words. It holds frequency, depth, and impact. As Carl Jung once said, knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people. If you've ever wondered why some people pull away, go quiet, or act strangely around you, this might be the video that finally explains it. Today on Spiritual Wisdom, we'll uncover 13 powerful signs that your aura may be intimidating those around you, not because you're wrong, but because you're real. As we go through each one, ask yourself, which signs resonate with my life? Which moments made me shrink my light? And how can I now step fully into my power? Let us know in the comments your story might empower someone else's breakthrough. 1. The aura is your energetic signature. Your aura is the silent force that enters the room before you do. It's not just energy, it's your soul speaking in frequencies. Carl Jung may never have used the word aura, but his understanding of the unconscious mind revealed a profound truth. When your inner world is aligned, your very presence becomes undeniable. It's not about looks, words, or performance. It's about spiritual integration. When your conscious mind no longer resists your shadow, when you've faced your fears, healed your wounds, and chosen wholeness over perfection, you begin to emit something rare, an energetic signature so strong that people feel it in their bones. This is the invisible language of spiritual awakening, the vibration of someone who knows who they are and no longer seeks permission to be. But here's the paradox. This energy doesn't always attract admiration. In fact, it often creates disruption. Not because you're disruptive, but because your truth rattles illusions, your peace agitates chaos, and your self-acceptance exposes insecurities. You're not triggering others by being loud. You're triggering them by being real. Jung called this projection the unconscious tendency to assign our denied qualities onto others. So when people avoid your eyes, speak nervously, or criticize you without cause, it's often because they're not seeing you. They're seeing themselves, reflected through your clarity. You don't have to do anything wrong to make someone uncomfortable. Your presence alone is a mirror, and not everyone is ready to face their reflection. In the real world, this energetic contrast shows up everywhere. You may find people are drawn to you, yet unsettled. You might intimidate coworkers without trying. Friends may misread your boundaries as arrogance. It's not because you're superior, it's because your vibration reveals what's unhealed in them. And for those who live in denial, that kind of revelation feels like a threat. But your job isn't to shrink. Your role is to understand. You didn't come here to blend in. You came here to raise the frequency of the room by being the frequency. You don't lower your light to comfort the dark. You rise, and in doing so, invite others to rise with you. The more spiritually awake you become, the less you feel the need to explain your energy. You stop negotiating your worth in rooms that can't hold your truth. You stop bending your boundaries to keep false peace. You carry your aura like a silent message. I have done the inner work. I have faced my shadows. I walk in alignment. And that alignment speaks louder than any performance ever could. You realize that power doesn't shout. It whispers. It just is. And when you embody that truth, you no longer chase validation, you radiate it. You become a catalyst, not by force, but by frequency. You don't demand respect. You embody it, and you let others decide whether they are ready to meet you where you are. So keep walking in your light. Keep honoring your energy. Let your presence be your statement. And if you're ready to fully own the power of your aura, type it into the universe now. I align my energy. Because the moment you do, the world will begin to rearrange itself around the truth of who you've become. 2. Powerful auras act as mirrors. When your aura is powerful, it doesn't just light up a room, it reveals what others try to hide. Without speaking, you become a mirror, reflecting the emotional states, insecurities, and shadows of those around you. People often mistake this reflection for judgment, when in reality, it's their own unresolved pain rising to the surface. You trigger what's buried, not because you're arrogant or forceful, but because your presence is aligned, grounded, and whole. That alone can be deeply unsettling to anyone still wearing masks. Your energy doesn't lie. It vibrates with truth, and truth makes people uncomfortable, especially those who haven't yet faced theirs. You walk in authenticity, and that makes others second-guess the roles they're playing. It's not about superiority, it's resonance. Energy always communicates before words ever do. That's why some people may feel an instant connection with you, while others pull away, criticize, or become strangely silent in your presence. They're not reacting to you. They're reacting to what their own energy feels when yours enters the space. A powerful aura amplifies. It draws attention, not through noise, but through stillness. Not through appearance, but through presence. You don't chase approval because your soul is self-validating. You don't seek attention because you've already made peace with solitude. And that quiet confidence can expose people's need for validation, their attachments, their anxieties. This is why your aura often evokes extreme reactions, admiration or resentment, curiosity or avoidance. Either way, you're not neutral. You shift the dynamic simply by being. You didn't wake up with this kind of energy by chance. It was earned. You've gone through darkness, purified your mind, healed your wounds, and taken the long road of inner work. That journey gave you a frequency most haven't yet reached. While others are caught up in surface-level appearances, you radiate from your core. That kind of radiance reveals the emptiness behind performance. And so people either feel inspired to rise or pressured to hide. There's nothing you need to fix. If others feel uneasy around you, that discomfort is their own soul calling them to awaken. Your aura isn't too much. It's just too real. Keep showing up with integrity. Keep walking with quiet power. You're not meant to shrink for the comfort of those avoiding growth. You are the reminder that healing is possible, that wholeness is real, and that light, when it shines without apology, changes everything. If this message resonates with you, subscribe to our channel and stay connected with a community that understands the power of energy and self-awareness. Here, we explore how your presence can reflect truth, heal wounds, and inspire growth. Remember, your aura is not a threat. It's a gift. Keep shining. 3. A powerful aura exposes others. You don't need to explain yourself because your energy already speaks volumes. You unsettle not because you're loud, but because you're real. You don't perform, you embody. And that embodiment is rare, which is why it rattles those who are still hiding. Your aura doesn't ask for attention. It commands honesty. Carl Jung reminded us that what we deny within ourselves doesn't go away. It surfaces when someone else reflects it. That's what your aura does. You reflect back to others the parts they've buried, denied, or avoided. You shine with spiritual wisdom. And while some will be inspired, others will feel threatened not by you, but by what they see in themselves when you're near. This is why people pull away or react strangely, not because of who you are, but because of who they are not yet ready to become. Your alignment disrupts their confusion. Your truth shakes the lies they still cling to. And your calm presence can feel like a storm in the minds of those still trapped in their masks. But let this be a lesson. You are not responsible for shrinking so others feel tall. You are not here to bend to make others comfortable in their delusion. Your spiritual development has made your energy precise, sharp, clean, and for those tangled in emotional noise, that can feel like judgment. But it is not judgment. It is clarity. And clarity often feels like an attack to those used to chaos. The frequency you hold now is one that reveals. It doesn't flatter, it unveils. It doesn't soothe, it awakens. An awakening isn't gentle. It breaks. It rebuilds. You are no longer participating in the performance. You no longer seek validation or manipulate perception. You are no longer addicted to being liked. You are devoted to being real. And realness is the highest rebellion in a world built on illusion. Some people will crave your energy like oxygen. Others will run from it like fire. But both responses prove its power. Because when you stop chasing, convincing, fixing, when you stand in your soul, your aura becomes a mirror that reflects truth. Not everyone is ready to look, but you are not here to be everyone's comfort. You are here to be your own truth. You are no longer just a person in the room. You are the room. You shift the atmosphere by simply being. You walk into a space and the unseen shifts, not because you're trying, because you are aligned. That's what spiritual wisdom looks like when it's lived, not spoken, not posted, but embodied. You are now the energy. You are now the presence. And you are now the permission others didn't know they needed to wake up. Some will love you. Some will leave you. But all will feel you. And that is your gift. That is your power. So hold your head high and never apologize for being the storm that clears the air. If you feel this truth in your bones, comment below. I own my authentic energy. Like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the spiritual insight your soul has been waiting for. 4. You trigger psychological projection. People with powerful auras don't need to speak loudly to be heard. Their presence alone stirs something deep in others. When your energy is intense, pure, and aligned, it doesn't just light up a space, it reflects. It reveals. It exposes. And for many people, that's deeply uncomfortable. This is why you often become the target of projections. You're not the cause of their emotional outbursts, their envy, or their accusations. You're simply the mirror that shows them what they're not ready to see. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." That unconscious material, fear, guilt, jealousy, needs a trigger to rise to the surface. Your aura is that trigger. People feel your authenticity, your clarity, your calm, and instead of being inspired, they feel threatened. Not because you are harmful, but because they've never truly looked at themselves in that way. and in the presence of your light, their shadows feel exposed. In daily life, this can show up in subtle but draining ways. You might be at work, quietly focused, doing your best, and someone suddenly starts acting passive-aggressively toward you. You haven't done anything wrong, but your presence unsettles them. Why? Because they've spent years hiding behind masks, and you, just by being real, disrupt that comfort. You make them feel things they've buried: inadequacy, insecurity, unresolved guilt. Rather than reflect, they react. Even in close relationships, this dynamic can be painful. You may be loving, steady, and emotionally self-aware, yet your partner begins projecting their wounds onto you. They accuse you of things you've never done. They question your loyalty. They try to make you feel guilty for simply being independent. The truth is, they are struggling to meet you at the level of clarity you're vibrating at. And rather than admit their inner chaos, they blame the peace you embody. When you carry strong, high-frequency energy, you don't just inspire transformation, you provoke it. And transformation is uncomfortable. People may call you too sensitive, too distant, too intense. But none of that is true. What's actually happening is that their subconscious is trying to protect them from the truth you bring too close to the surface. You're not meant to dim your light, to soothe those still hiding from theirs. You're not here to carry the emotional projections of others. Your job is to stay aligned, to remember that you're not the cause of their discomfort. You're the invitation to growth they weren't ready for. Stay centered. Don't internalize their storms, and don't confuse their fear with your fault. When you walk into a room and people shift, when you speak and others feel exposed, when you love deeply and others push you away, it's not your fault. It's your power. A powerful aura disrupts illusions. It triggers unconscious patterns. And while not everyone will appreciate it, those who are ready to awaken will never forget it. 5. Individuation creates a disturbing presence. When you fully integrate your shadow and awaken to your true self, you don't become louder, you become undeniable. Carl Jung called this state individuation, the sacred union of all parts of the psyche, both light and dark. It's not something you wear like a badge. It's something you radiate. Your energy no longer seeks validation. It commands respect in silence. You don't need to enter a room to be seen. Your aura gets there first. It's a quiet power, one that doesn't beg for attention, yet draws it like gravity. And while that sounds beautiful, it also comes with an unexpected edge. Your coherence disturbs those who are fragmented. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because your wholeness forces them to feel the disconnection within themselves. You are a walking mirror, and not everyone is ready to look. People who hide behind personas, who stitch together their identity from approval and avoidance, will sense something different in you, and it will make them uncomfortable. Your clarity is a confrontation. Your stillness shakes their noise. Your energy, forged from truth, feels like an earthquake beneath their illusions. You may notice this in passive remarks, sudden distance, or unexplained tension. This is not rejection. It's resistance to the frequency you embody. It's not that people don't like you. It's that your presence challenges what they've built to protect their own denial. And so, without trying, you become a disruptor of illusions. In offices, your silence can echo louder than conversation. In social circles, Your groundedness feels like rebellion. In family dynamics, your mere existence threatens roles that were never yours to carry. You've stepped into a spiritual awakening where your presence is no longer neutral. It's transformative. You don't push people. Your energy simply reveals where they stand. That's what happens when your soul stops negotiating with your ego. You become a frequency many haven't yet tuned into, and the disharmony is felt. But remember this: your purpose is not to dilute yourself for comfort. You weren't made to harmonize with dysfunction. You were made to stand as a lighthouse in a fog of confusion. Your authenticity may disturb the room, but it also has the power to liberate it. Don't shrink to fit their comfort zone. Expand to match your calling. Your aura now carries the mark of someone who has transmuted pain into wisdom, chaos into clarity. You've done what most only dream of: facing the inner storm and coming out with peace, not pretense. That's why people feel you before they know you. That's why your presence lingers even after you've left. It's not ego, it's energy. And energy doesn't lie. Some will be magnetized to you, others will recoil. Both reactions are sacred, because your role is not to be liked. Your role is to be true. In that truth, you awaken others not by preaching, but by being. You are not here to be tolerated. You are here to be felt. And those who can't handle your wholeness are simply not ready to meet their own. Keep going. You are not too much. You are the storm that clears, the presence that awakens, the embodiment of spiritual wisdom. Comment below: I am whole, and my energy speaks truth. 6. You're labeled too intense or misunderstood. People who live on the surface often find emotional depth confusing, even threatening. They may say you're too serious, too intense, or too much, when in truth, what they're reacting to is your energetic presence, your inner clarity, your spiritual resonance. You carry emotional and spiritual frequencies that confront the unconscious parts of others. You stir something they've spent years suppressing. You don't just speak from the mind, you speak from the soul. And that makes people feel naked, exposed, and unsure around you. This reaction isn't about your behavior. It's about your essence. Your aura, the energetic field surrounding you, holds your emotional truth. It is shaped by your self-awareness, your healing, your shadow work, and your courage to be real in a world obsessed with appearances. Most people haven't met themselves in silence, haven't sat with their grief, their rage, their longing. So when you walk into the room, radiating authenticity, they feel it. And for many, it's too much. It triggers shame, fear, jealousy, or confusion they don't know how to name. So instead, they blame your intensity. You've been forged by fire spiritually, emotionally, energetically. You've gone through things that shattered you, and instead of hiding the cracks, you let the light pour through them. You carry truth in your voice and purpose in your eyes. And that makes you magnetic, but also polarizing, because your presence invites people to either rise or retreat. Some will be drawn to your energy like a lifeline. Others will resent it because it reminds them of everything they've buried. Your depth disrupts the illusion of normal. In a world that rewards superficiality, distraction, and emotional detachment, your clarity is radical. You listen differently. You love differently. You ask questions that pierce the veil of denial. You see what people try to hide, and you don't play along with the game. And while some people will find healing in your presence, others will call you dramatic. overwhelming or too deep, simply because you don't give them the option to stay asleep. There is a sacred discomfort you bring, and that is your gift. Your emotional energy isn't chaotic, it's alive. It vibrates with sincerity and purpose. You weren't made to be small. You weren't designed to be tolerated. You were born to activate truth in the people around you, even if that truth makes them flinch. Your aura challenges the masks others wear. It reflects what they're not ready to face. And that reflection can feel like pressure, when in reality, it's an invitation. You've never been too much. You've just been around too many people who settled for too little. They weren't prepared to witness someone who feels so deeply, loves so fiercely, and sees so clearly. But that doesn't mean you need to change. It means you need to remember who you are and stand firmly in that power, not to prove anything, but to live freely, fully, and awake. If you've ever been called too intense or misunderstood for simply being deep and authentic, you're not alone. Comment, "I resonate with this," if you felt this way. Or, "Not my experience," if you see it differently. Your voice matters. Let's talk about it in the comments. 7. Your energy elicits intense reactions from strangers. When your energy field is strong, it doesn't ask for attention. It demands a reaction. You may notice that strangers either open up to you instantly or become uncomfortable in your presence. This isn't random. It's the invisible impact of your vibration interacting with their subconscious mind. Your aura, which carries the emotional and spiritual resonance of who you truly are, stirs up the emotions others haven't yet dealt with. They don't know why they feel exposed or unsettled around you, but it's because your frequency naturally brings the hidden to light. Many people live behind emotional masks, unaware of how much they've suppressed. Then you walk into the room, calm, authentic, whole, and suddenly their defenses shake. Some are drawn to you, pulled by a deep sense of safety, as if your energy gives them permission to be real. Others, however, may act defensive or cold because your presence reminds them of everything they've buried. Their reaction has little to do with you and everything to do with what your energy reflects back to them. Your vibration acts as a mirror, one that reveals what they're not ready to see. Carl Jung understood this deeply. He wrote, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul." Your aura, however, confronts them with their soul without saying a word. That's why you've had random conversations where people confided in you as if they'd known you forever. That's also why some people respond with sudden irritation or judgment. Your spiritual field doesn't just comfort, it awakens. An awakening is rarely a comfortable process. You carry the weight of presence. Not everyone is ready to feel it. Your energy pierces through superficial interactions and reaches something ancient and real in people. For some, that's healing. For others, it's terrifying. And yet, it's not your job to dim your light, to protect others from their own shadows. Your only responsibility is to continue embodying truth, even when truth disturbs the room. This is the burden and the blessing of having a powerful aura. You'll walk through the world awakening reactions that have nothing to do with your words or actions and everything to do with your energy. The more aligned and whole you become, the more you'll trigger what's unaligned and fragmented in others. It's not personal, it's spiritual. The stronger your light, the more it exposes. That's the unspoken impact of powerful energy. It liberates some and rattles others. Either way, it leaves no soul untouched. Comment below. My energy awakens truth if you've noticed how strangers react deeply to your presence. Your aura isn't random. It's a mirror to the soul. If this resonates, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss more insights like this. 8. You shift the atmosphere instantly. Your aura enters the room before you do. It's not imagination. It's an energetic truth. You carry a frequency that either lifts the space or shakes it to the core, depending on the emotional state of those around you. This shift is immediate, undeniable, and deeply felt by both the conscious and unconscious mind. When your aura is powerful, it doesn't just complement a space, it alters it. That alteration might bring clarity and peace, or it might provoke discomfort and resistance. But either way, it never leaves things the same. You've likely experienced moments where people stared at you without knowing why, or suddenly changed their behavior once you walked in. That's not about your appearance. It's your energy field stirring their emotional waters. People who have unresolved chaos within them feel exposed around you because your presence highlights the imbalance they carry. You aren't trying to confront anyone. Your alignment simply reflects what they've been avoiding. Your stillness triggers their noise. Even animals and children respond to this energy. A dog might approach you with deep calm or run off with anxiety, sensing your frequency. Children, with their intuitive purity, often become fixated on you or strangely shy, not because of who you are on the surface, but because they feel the soul-level charge your aura emits. They sense truth in a world often cluttered with masks. In modern life, this power can be misunderstood. A woman named Maya once shared that in every workplace she entered, the atmosphere shifted. Colleagues would either open up emotionally within minutes or begin to distance themselves for no clear reason. She began to wonder if something was wrong with her. But in time, she realized the truth. Her energy was a mirror. It reflected the unresolved in others, not because she was trying to, but because she lived in deep inner alignment. That level of coherence made others feel their own fragmentation more clearly. Your aura is a field of influence. It communicates more loudly than words ever could. You don't have to try to be noticed, you are noticed. Not because you want attention, but because your energy commands it. And that command comes not from ego, but from authenticity. When you are whole within yourself, you create tension for those who are split between their truth and their persona. This is not your fault. It's the natural consequence of becoming someone who no longer hides. You shift the atmosphere not by doing, but by being. Your energy is a catalyst. Let it be. Don't dim it to fit into emotionally stagnant rooms. Don't shrink it to soothe discomfort. If your aura disturbs the room, maybe the room needed to be disturbed. If you're still tuned in, comment below, "I shift energy," to let us know you're feeling this truth. Your voice helps us grow this space of awareness and light. 9. People confide in you unintentionally. People open up to you without warning. They share things they've kept hidden for years. Their regrets, wounds, private stories, and suppressed emotions. You don't ask for it, yet they pour it out. This isn't a coincidence. Your aura creates a field of safety, a silent invitation that tells people, "You're safe here. They feel seen in your presence, not judged. You don't just hear them, you feel them. And in a world where most people are starving for emotional safety, your energy becomes their refuge. Carl Jung once said, "Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of other people." That's exactly what you radiate. People trust you because, whether you speak it or not, your energy carries the wisdom of survival. You've walked through your own shadows, and that silent knowing draws others in. Your aura doesn't just glow, it mirrors truth. It tells people, it's okay to feel. It's okay to heal. And so, without understanding why, they tell you everything. But what they don't realize is that this gift can become a burden. You're left holding the weight of stories that aren't yours. People leave lighter, while you walk away heavier. It's subtle at first, a little fatigue, a little brain fog, the quiet pressure of being too emotionally full. Then one day, you realize you've become everyone's healer, yet no one knows when you're hurting. That's why energetic boundaries aren't just helpful, they're essential. Being kind doesn't mean being a container for other people's pain. Just because someone opens up doesn't mean you're meant to carry it. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say is, "I hear you, but I'm not in a space to take this on right now." You're not rejecting them, you're protecting yourself. You must also tend to your energetic hygiene. Cleanse your space. Cleanse your spirit. Whether that's through deep breathing, prayer, journaling, or simply being alone in silence, do whatever reconnects you to your own center. Your aura is your energetic signature, and just like your body, it needs rest, protection, and renewal. Being a space of emotional safety is sacred, but it must be balanced with self-respect. You are not here to absorb everyone's emotional chaos. You are here to guide, to reflect, and to stand in your power. You don't have to dim your light, but you do have to guard the flame. Have people ever opened up to you out of nowhere, as if your presence gave them permission to be real? If you've experienced this, share your story in the comments so others can relate and learn. If not, comment, "I am open to understanding," to begin recognizing the quiet power your energy holds. 10. You naturally repel the superficial. People who are deeply attached to surface-level validation often feel uneasy around you, not because you are unkind, but because your energy doesn't play by the same rules. You don't flatter, you don't perform, and you don't conform just to make others comfortable. Your authenticity becomes a silent confrontation. It holds up a mirror, one that reflects the hollowness of pretenses and the fragility of false identities. This is why those who live for appearances or hide behind polished masks either avoid you or try to reduce you by calling you intense, serious, or boring. They may not understand it consciously, but your presence makes them feel seen in a way they aren't ready for. You don't engage in shallow talk for the sake of fitting in, and you don't inflate your personality to gain approval. That alone disorients people who rely on external validation for their sense of self. They might gossip, overcompensate with charm, or constantly seek attention, but none of that moves you. Your stillness, your grounded nature, it unsettles them because it exposes how noisy and disconnected they truly feel inside. They may try to label your depth as a flaw, but it's not. It's a sign of coherence. Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." and you are living that truth whether others can understand it or not. You don't repel people because of negativity. You repel superficiality because your vibration demands truth. You unconsciously remind people of what they've buried, their silence, their unresolved wounds, their forgotten desires for real connection. This is why, even in crowds, you often stand alone. Not because you are lonely, but because your spirit refuses to settle for anything less than real. You may feel isolated at times, but that isolation is sacred. It means your soul is choosing quality over quantity, depth over noise, truth over convenience. You're not here to entertain illusions, you're here to awaken energy. And that awakening will always trigger something in others. Admiration in the ready, resistance in the unready. Spiritual wisdom reminds us that your aura is not just a presence, it's a purifier. It moves through spaces and cleanses what is fake, what is performative, what is hollow. You don't have to speak to make a shift happen. Your being already speaks for you. And in a world drowning in distraction, your authenticity is a rare medicine. It's no wonder some people can't handle it. You're not too much. You're just living in alignment, and that is always disruptive to those who aren't. If you've ever been called too real or felt isolated for simply being yourself, this message is for you. Comment below. I choose truth over appearances. If you're ready to honor your authenticity and walk boldly in your light. Let's rise together, one soul, one truth at a time. 11. You energize or drain others based on their vibration. Some people feel energized in your presence, as if their spirits have been gently lifted just by being near you. Others, however, feel uncomfortable, irritated, or even drained, and it has nothing to do with what you say. It's your aura. Your energy field interacts directly with theirs, exposing emotional tension, repressed wounds, or unresolved thoughts. This energetic reaction isn't personal, it's vibrational. When someone is grounded and aligned, they receive your presence like healing sunlight. But when someone is fragmented or hiding behind defense mechanisms, your light becomes a mirror, and they may flinch at their own reflection. Carl Jung's concept of psychic interaction explains this invisible yet powerful exchange. He believed that people constantly project unconscious material onto others, and that deeper personalities like yours tend to attract stronger projections. Your aura doesn't just exist, it communicates. It speaks directly to the unspoken, stirring truth in others, even if they aren't ready to hear it. That's why people sometimes misunderstand you or retreat from your presence. You are not just a person to them. You are a trigger, a spotlight, a spiritual wake-up call. Think of those times when someone told you they felt peaceful around you, as if a weight had lifted, even though you barely spoke. That's not coincidence. It's a testament to your frequency. But also think about when you walked into a room and immediately felt drained. Maybe your body tensed up, your mood shifted, or you sensed hostility without reason. That wasn't just intuition. It was your energetic boundaries being tested. You absorb what's around you more deeply than others, and your body responds before your mind even knows why. In the workplace, your calm confidence may be seen as a threat to those fueled by competition and control. They may act cold, passive-aggressive, or overly critical, not because you're wrong, but because your presence unsettles their masks. Your steadiness makes their inner chaos louder. Your honesty makes their avoidance harder, and your compassion highlights their disconnect. That's why the same aura that uplifts one person might disturb another. You don't change, but their reaction does, based on their level of inner harmony. This dynamic is not something you need to fix. It's something you must understand. When your aura is strong and integrated, it becomes a tuning fork for truth. Those attuned to love, growth, and integrity will resonate with you. Those clinging to illusions, ego, and denial will resist you. Both are reflections, not judgments. Your role is not to dim your energy to be accepted. Your role is to discern, to choose wisely who gets access to your presence and who doesn't. When someone tells you that you're too much, it often means your authenticity demands a level of self-honesty they're not ready for. When someone says they feel calm just being near you, it's because their soul recognizes yours. You are the energetic mirror, the amplifier, the quiet force that reveals what's hidden. And that power is sacred, protect it. 12. You're a magnet for toxic people without boundaries. Toxic or narcissistic people don't just stumble into your life by accident. They are often drawn in by the rare frequency your energy radiates. There is something magnetic about your integrated aura, something steady and whole that they subconsciously crave. These individuals, who haven't done the inner work to heal or evolve, are instinctively attracted to your light, not because they respect it, but because they want to consume it. They see in you what they are unwilling to cultivate within themselves: self-awareness, emotional strength, and spiritual harmony. Your aura acts like a beacon. It doesn't scream for attention, but its authenticity speaks volumes in a world full of facades. That's why people come to you with their problems, their emotional messes, their unresolved traumas. Without realizing it, you become their healer, their counselor, their emotional sponge. But the danger here is subtle. When your boundaries aren't firm, your compassion can quickly turn into self-sacrifice. You give, they take. You listen, they unload. You soothe, they depend. Then somewhere in that cycle, your energy begins to fray at the edges. This dynamic is not about blame. It's about awareness. As Carl Jung once said, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. So instead of turning inward, toxic people reach outward to you. They want access to your energy without earning the wisdom that created it. They want the fruit, not the roots. And if you're not mindful, their chaos becomes your confusion. You start to wonder why your presence stirs up intensity in others, why people either cling to you or lash out without provocation. The answer lies in your frequency. Your aura is a mirror, and for many, what they see reflected is the truth they've long avoided. Your stability highlights their instability. Your peace confronts their inner storm. Your light exposes their shadows. And so, without boundaries, you become a magnet for the emotionally unhealed. They don't want to grow. They want to be carried. They don't want to rise. They want to feed. And while empathy is one of your greatest gifts, it must be paired with discernment. Not everyone deserves access to your sacred space. Not everyone is meant to walk beside you. And love without limits is not love, it's depletion. In the real world, this shows up in small but relentless ways. You're the one people vent to, but rarely ask about. You're the friend who gives advice, but has no one to turn to. You're the employee who holds the emotional weight of the team, even if no one says it out loud. And when you begin to set boundaries, you notice who respects your space and who tries to push past it. That's the difference between connection and control. Your powerful aura is not a weakness. It's a responsibility. And just as a flame must be protected from the wind to keep burning, your energy must be guarded from those who only want its warmth, but not its source. True power lies not in being available to everyone, but in being fully present for yourself. To affirm your awareness and energetic boundaries, comment below, "I protect my peace." Your words might be the reminder someone else needs today to stand strong in their light. 13. Your aura is a sacred responsibility, not a trophy. A powerful aura is not a trophy to be polished and shown off. It is the visible evidence of deep inner work, emotional maturity, and spiritual integrity. It means you've walked through fire without losing your softness. You've learned the value of silence, the necessity of solitude, and the sacredness of saying no. Carl Jung emphasized that transformation doesn't come from imagining light, but from making the darkness conscious. Your aura reflects how much of that darkness you've faced, integrated, and transmuted into strength, presence, and stillness. Your energy doesn't just light up a room, it shifts it. People can feel your frequency before you speak. Some are drawn to it like a lighthouse in a storm. Others are unsettled, even repelled, because your very presence confronts what they've buried. You don't need to speak for your aura to speak for you. But this isn't about power or dominance. It's about clarity. And clarity is disruptive to confusion. The clearer you are within yourself, the more sharply you reflect the illusions around you. That's why you feel misunderstood. That's why strangers react strongly to your presence. You're not being judged. You're being felt. This sacred frequency you carry is not for everyone. It's for those ready to remember who they are. Your aura acts as a mirror, one that reflects not only beauty, but also buried pain. Some people project their unhealed wounds onto you. They don't even know why, but being around you makes them feel exposed. This is not your fault. It's your function. You're not here to fix them. You're not here to rescue. You're here to be a living vibration that stirs souls awake. That is the role of a true light bearer. Not to heal on command, but to embody wholeness so fully that healing becomes contagious. Because your aura is so potent, boundaries are not optional. They're sacred. You are the gatekeeper of your energy. Not everyone deserves access. Just like a temple is protected, so too must your energetic field be. That doesn't make you harsh. It makes you wise. Spiritual maturity means recognizing that being available to everyone can dilute your purpose. You weren't meant to be everywhere, for everyone, all the time. Your time, your space, your essence, they are offerings. And offerings are sacred because they're rare, intentional, and aligned. The more integrated you are, the more people will mistake you for being too much, too deep, too quiet, too intense. But that's not your burden to carry. The discomfort they feel is not your responsibility to resolve. It is a reflection of their own fragmentation. You didn't cause it, you revealed it. Let them call it whatever they need to. Your job is not to shrink into something safer. Your job is to remain in your truth. This is what it means to live with a powerful aura, not to be admired, but to be unshakable. Not to impress, but to embody. Not to shine above, but to awaken within. As we uncover the 13 signs of a powerful aura, let this be more than just insight. Let it be a mirror to your inner strength. Your presence here means you're not afraid of your light. Comment below. My aura speaks before I do, to affirm your power and inspire others on the same path. Let's continue this journey together. If this message has awakened something within you, trust that it's not by accident. Your aura isn't a threat. It's a mirror, a guide, and a powerful declaration of your authenticity. Carl Jung once said, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes." So awaken. Embrace your rare presence. And remember, your energy doesn't need to shrink to make others comfortable. Let it speak boldly, silently, and unapologetically. If this resonates, give this video a like, share it with someone who needs this truth, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss another insight that helps you grow, awaken, and walk in your truth. Carl Jung's warning. 4 spiritual clues you're closer than ever to meeting the one who changes everything. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Carl Jung. Have you ever felt like something or someone is approaching, even if you can't explain why? A quiet shift in the air. A strange recognition in a stranger's eyes. According to Carl Jung, these are not coincidences, but spiritual clues and synchronicities whisper from your soul that you're on the edge of a powerful meeting that could change everything. In this video, we're going to explore 4 signs that you're closer than ever to encountering the one who doesn't just enter your life, they rearrange your soul. If you've ever wondered whether these strange inner stirrings mean something more, you're not alone. Drop a comment below and let us know. Have you ever met someone who felt like a mirror of your own transformation? Let's journey together into the depth of Jung's spiritual wisdom and uncover what your soul might already know. Sign number 1. Your inner world feels like it's being rearranged before they ever appear. Carl Jung once said, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes." And if lately you've felt like something inside you is quietly being rearranged, as if your life no longer fits quite the same, then this may not be a coincidence. It could be the very first spiritual clue that you're approaching someone whose arrival won't just change your circumstances, but your soul. You see, in the process of spiritual awakening, there are no loud announcements, no dramatic signs from the sky, just subtle inner tremors, like the soul whispering before the storm of transformation. Men between 30 and 65 often begin to sense this shift in a way that's hard to explain. It's not burnout, not depression, but a quiet reorientation, like your heart is making room for something that hasn't arrived yet. And that something may well be a someone. Jung taught that real transformation doesn't begin with decisions made in broad daylight. It starts in the unconscious, in the hidden chambers of the soul. So when the psyche begins to prepare for what's coming, it doesn't ask for permission, it simply begins the clearing. You might find yourself unable to enjoy the things you used to love, the hobbies, the conversations, even the people that once defined your sense of comfort might start to feel distant. And while that can be disorienting, it's not a sign that you're breaking down. It's a signal that you're leveling up. It's as though your internal compass is slowly pointing toward a new North Star. And for many men, especially those who've walked through life carrying quiet burdens, it can feel like a haunting. But what if it's not a haunting, but a calling? This is where spiritual wisdom matters. When your inner world begins to shift like furniture moving in the dark, it's your soul rehearsing for a new chapter. Jung believed that the psyche could intuitively sense what's ahead before your rational mind catches up. That's why this discomfort isn't chaos. It's clarity being born through disruption. You're not falling apart, you're being reassembled. Like a musical instrument that's being restrung, not broken, just returned for a new melody. And that melody, it often begins to play when you're finally ready to stop living half asleep and start showing up for your life with presence and intention. This stage of spiritual awakening is sacred because the soul only calls in transformation when it's ready to make space for it. That means you might find yourself cleaning not just your home, but your habits, your thoughts, your emotional attachments. You start shedding what no longer feels true. And sometimes, right in the middle of that cleansing, someone arrives not as a savior, but as a mirror. A person whose presence makes sense of the mess and turns the chaos into connection. So if your world feels unfamiliar lately, don't rush to fix it. Ask yourself, what if this isn't falling apart? What if it's falling together? What if you're not just waiting for someone to meet, you're becoming someone who can be met? Let this remind you, inner chaos is not dysfunction. It is spiritual preparation. It is your deepest self making a home for someone who will not only enter your life, but expand it. And in this silent but powerful transformation, your only task is to be awake, honest, and open, because the one who changes everything may already be on the way, attracted not to the image you project, but to the truth you now embody. Comment below, I am awake, honest, and open. Sign number 2. Synchronicities begin to intensify. When synchronicities start showing up more frequently, it's not just life playing tricks on you, it's your soul speaking in symbols. Carl Jung called it synchronicity, and he believed these meaningful coincidences are far more than random. They're spiritual clues that your inner world is waking up and your outer world is responding. Think about it. You keep seeing the same name. Overhear strangers talking about the exact thing you've been silently struggling with. Or hear a song from your childhood just a day after it appeared in a dream. That's not a coincidence. That's your psyche reflecting your spiritual growth, mirroring your unconscious transformation through the world around you. Jung said, the psyche arranges outer events to mirror inner transformation. So when you start noticing repeating numbers, familiar names, odd symbols, or feel mysteriously drawn to a certain place, only to find a moment of deep significance waiting there, that's your soul leaving breadcrumbs, not to confuse you, but to guide you toward the version of yourself that is finally ready for what's next. I want you to think about this in your own life. Has there been a time when the universe seemed to whisper back to you? Maybe you were going through a heartbreak or a major transition, and suddenly the world around you became strangely aligned with people, books, songs, signs on the street, all speaking directly to what was inside your heart. I had a friend once who kept seeing butterflies everywhere on billboards, clothing, even landing near her during walks. She thought nothing of it until she came across a letter from her late mother, who once told her, "When you see a butterfly, that's me reminding you to keep growing, keep changing." That single synchronicity cracked her open spiritually. It helped her move through grief. And later, she met someone who truly saw her, someone who could only enter her life once she had shed her cocoon. These signs aren't always about someone else showing up. Sometimes, they're about you finally becoming the version of yourself who's ready to receive real connection. So let me ask you, what signs have been following you lately? What patterns, names, numbers, or dreams won't leave you alone? Don't ignore them. They are the silent voice of the universe, urging you forward. Spirituality is not about finding answers, but about learning to listen deeply when the world speaks in symbols. Ultimately, the real clues that you are about to meet, the one who will change everything, are not loud or dramatic, but subtle, poetic, and deeply personal. The lesson here is, synchronicities are not just signs. They are spiritual invitations to grow, trust, and prepare your heart. Pay attention not only to what shows up, but also to who you are becoming on the journey toward it. Because spiritual growth doesn't just lead you to the person, it transforms you into the person who is finally ready. Comment below, "I am ready to open my heart." Sign number 3. You begin meeting parts of yourself you've long ignored. Sign number 3 is perhaps the most personal of all. You begin meeting parts of yourself you've long ignored. The one who will truly change your life isn't just someone walking toward you from the outside. They're someone whose presence draws you into the deepest corners of your own being. Long before your souls meet in the physical world, something begins to stir inside you. You might suddenly feel waves of emotion you thought you'd buried long ago, grief that knocks gently on the door, desires you were taught to suppress now demanding your attention, or fears you once outran showing up not to scare you but to be acknowledged. What's happening here is not chaos, it's shadow work, the sacred process of reclaiming all the exiled parts of yourself. According to Carl Jung, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. This stage of your spiritual awakening is not punishment, it's preparation. It's your soul's way of creating space for a deeper connection by removing the masks you've worn for survival. So ask yourself, what parts of you have been hiding in the dark, simply waiting for your light? Because the truth is, before you meet the one, you meet yourself, and that's where the real story begins. Jung's spiritual wisdom reminds us that those who impact us most are not coincidences. They are soul mirrors. They reflect our hidden wounds, our untapped potential, and the longing for inner union that lives within us all. Maybe you'll notice your fear of intimacy coming to the surface, only to later meet someone who isn't afraid to see right through you. Maybe your inner feminine begins to soften, allowing vulnerability, grace, and receptivity just before a man enters your life who honors that very energy with strength and tenderness. These meetings don't arrive when you've perfected yourself. They happen when you've embraced yourself, raw, unfiltered, whole. Because true connection isn't about finding someone who completes you. It's about becoming someone who no longer needs completing. That's when the universe responds. As Jung so powerfully said, we don't attract what we want. We attract who we are or who we're ready to become. And sometimes, becoming that person is the very path that calls them in. So, could it be that your inner healing is the very signal your soulmate has been waiting for? Could it be that the most important love story begins not with meeting them, but with meeting you? Let this be a reminder. Your healing is not just about you. It is an echo calling your destiny connection forward. The person you are becoming may have attracted someone who will not save you, but someone who will see you. So be open, be honest, and ask yourself, who are you ready to meet within, so that the love outside of you can find a place? If so, comment below. I am ready to receive. Sign number 4. A deep calm or knowing emerges. There comes a moment in every man's life, often after years of chasing, striving, and wondering, when the noise inside finally quiets and something unexplainable rises from within. A deep calm, an unshakable knowing that the person who will change everything is closer than ever. This stillness isn't born from giving up or settling down. It's born from alignment, from a spiritual awakening that no longer seeks validation or approval from the outside world. You stop chasing love because you realize love, in its purest form, begins with you. Carl Jung once said, "Loneliness does not come from being alone, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important." But when this inner shift occurs, you're no longer afraid to speak those truths. You've become someone who doesn't just seek deep connection, you embody it. This is what Jung called the emergence of the self, that sacred center of your psyche finally rising to the surface, not as theory, but as a lived reality. And as this happens, you begin to attract not from desperation, but from resonance, because the spiritual signal you now carry vibrates with truth, with wholeness. That's the paradox Jung emphasized time and time again. We do not attract what we want. We attract what we are. And when you become the sanctuary you once hoped to find in someone else, the magnet becomes active. You no longer wait in fear or in longing, you wait in presence, in power, in peace. And that's when life responds. So, who is this person that's about to walk into your life? They may not look like the fantasy you once clung to. They might not be lovers. They could be a mentor, a friend, a partner on purpose, or even someone you encounter only once but never forget. Their purpose isn't to complete you. Their presence serves as a mirror, a message, a threshold. They reveal who you are beneath all the roles and stories. Jung believed these encounters are archetypal. They carry a mythic weight. They shake something loose in the psyche. They awaken dormant truths. And they show you not just who is arriving, but who you've been becoming all along. Often, they appear at a crossroads after you have let go of an old identity, or in a season when you least expect it and need it the most. But one thing is certain. After this encounter, you will no longer be yourself, not because of what they do, but because of what they illuminate in you. Jung once said, "We meet ourselves again and again in 1,000 disguises on the road of life." This encounter, whoever it is, will be one of those sacred disguises, an invitation encoded by the soul, a spiritual clue wrapped in human form. And it is not about fireworks, it is about change. The moment you realize that you have crossed a threshold, the person you were is no longer the person who waits. You have become the person who receives, recognizes, remembers. So let me ask you, are you ready to meet the version of yourself that you have been and are growing into? because that is the real purpose of this meeting. And if this resonates with you, if something stirs inside you when you listen, then believe me, you are closer than you think. Comment below. I am ready to meet myself. As we've explored in this video, Carl Jung's warning points us toward 4 powerful spiritual clues that you're closer than ever to meeting the one who changes everything, not just through fate, but through deep soul alignment. It's not about chasing love or waiting for signs in the sky. It's about tuning into your inner frequency, recognizing yourself, and preparing to be met by someone who reflects the truth you've reclaimed. Remember, the journey is not just about finding them, it's about finding you. So, which of these signs spoke to your soul the most? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your experience. And if this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom for more insights on transformation, synchronicity, and soul awakening journeys.